The silent sentinel. The observation deck's lights dimmed automatically as Commander Elena Reyes stepped through the sliding doors. Before her, through the massive transparent viewport, hung the culmination of humanity's defiance. A sleek obsidian vessel nearly 2 kilometers long, illuminated by the soft blue glow of work drones that circled it like fireflies. Its hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, giving the impression of a ship-shaped void against the starfield. Magnificent, isn't she? Admiral Zhang appeared beside Reyes, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays floating between them. The EDS Sentinel. First of her kind. First and only, Reyes corrected, her dark eyes studying the massive vessel with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The Alliance would never permit a second. Zhang's laugh was bitter. The Galactic Alliance hasn't permitted this one either. They just don't know about it yet. Reyes ran a hand through her short black hair, a nervous habit from her academy days. At 37, she was young for such a command, but her record spoke for itself. 15 years of distinguished service in Earth's limited space defense forces, and 3 successful engagements against pirate vessels that had violated the quarantine zone. The Alliance had protested each time, of course. Humans were expected to call for help, not defend themselves. How did we keep something this massive secret? She asked. Zhang gestured toward the shipyard around them, a hollow asteroid in the belt, far from prying eyes. Piece by piece, over 7 years, components built on Earth as research vessels or orbital habitats, assembled here by drones and a skeleton crew of engineers who haven't seen their families in years. Reyes studied the technical specifications scrolling across her tablet. The numbers were staggering. Energy readings that dwarfed anything in humanity's arsenal weapon systems, theoretically impossible according to what the Alliance had shared with Earth. These technologies, she murmured, we shouldn't have them. No, Zhang agreed. According to the Galactic Alliance, we're at least a century away from developing phase shields or gravitational weaponry. They've carefully controlled what knowledge filters down to us. But we have them anyway. Reverse engineered from salvage, stolen data, and good old human ingenuity. Pride colored Zhang's voice. The Alliance has underestimated us from the beginning. They see us as children, to be contained and managed until we're mature enough to join galactic society. Reyes knew the history well. First contact had occurred nearly 70 years ago, and Earth had initially celebrated. The galaxy was populated with dozens of intelligent species, bound together in a loose coalition called the Galactic Alliance. They had welcomed humanity with open arms, and promptly placed Earth under quarantine. For our protection, they'd said, to allow our society to gradually adapt to the existence of extraterrestrial life. But decades had passed, and the restrictions had only tightened. Human ships were confined to the solar system. Technology transfers were strictly limited. Colonies beyond Mars were prohibited entirely. And now, human outposts were vanishing. Show me the Ganymede footage again, Reyes said. Zhang nodded, and the holographic display changed to show grainy security footage from the research station on Jupiter's moon. The timestamp showed it was from 3 weeks ago. The station appeared normal for the first minute, scientists moving between workstations, technicians monitoring the massive gas giant's radiation belts. Then the lights flickered. Personnel looked up in confusion. A blinding flash overwhelmed the camera temporarily. When the image cleared, the station's hull had been breached. Atmosphere vented into space, carrying debris and bodies with it. Through the breach, alien vessels could be seen. Sleek, predatory craft unlike the bulbous transport ships the Alliance occasionally sent to Earth. The recording ended abruptly. 47 personnel, Zhang said quietly. The Alliance claims it was a tragic accident, a containment failure in the station's reactor. And these ships, never officially acknowledged. Our diplomatic requests for investigation were denied. Reyes set her jaw. And Callisto, Europa. Similar accidents, over 200 lives lost altogether. The commander turned back to the viewport, studying the Sentinel with new eyes. And the Alliance does nothing. They send condolences. They offer to review our safety protocols. Zhang's voice hardened. Meanwhile, our outposts burn, and we're expected to stay confined to our cage. So we built this, Rise gestured toward the ship. In secret, against every treaty and agreement. We did. Zhang handed her a small data crystal. Your crew manifest. The best Earth has to offer. Pilots, engineers, tactical specialists. People who understand what's at stake. Rise scrolled through the names, recognizing several. Hiroshi Tanaka. I thought he was imprisoned after the Mars incident. Pardoned. His actions during the orbital failure saved thousands, even if he did violate Alliance protocols to do it. A name near the bottom made her pause. Chief Engineer Victor Dalka. He's volatile. He's brilliant, Zhang corrected. And he knows the Sentinel systems better than anyone. You'll need him. The Admiral's comm unit chimed. He checked it and frowned. It's time. The Security Council is waiting. Rise took a deep breath, stealing one last look at the massive ship. Her ship now. They're really going through with this. They are. Zhang placed a hand on her shoulder. Humanity has played by their rules for 70 years, Commander. It's time we showed the galaxy what we're capable of. The Security Council chambers were buried 2 kilometers beneath the New Geneva complex, one of the few places on Earth guaranteed to be free from Alliance monitoring. 12 somber faces watched from behind a curved table as Reyes and Zhang entered. The council members represented every major power on Earth, united by shared concern over humanity's increasingly precarious position. Commander Reyes, Secretary General Okafor's deep voice filled the chamber. You've been briefed on the Sentinel project. Yes, Madam Secretary. Admiral Zhang has shown me the ship and provided technical specifications. And you understand what we're asking of you. Reyes straightened. You want me to take an unauthorized warship beyond Alliance-mandated boundaries, investigate the attacks on our outposts, and demonstrate that humanity will no longer accept our containment. Essentially correct. Okafor nodded. Though I would characterize it as establishing a security perimeter within our own solar system, which falls within our sovereign rights. A legal fiction. The Chinese representative noted. The Alliance will see this as a profound violation of treaties they've already violated by allowing these attacks, the American counselor countered. Okafor raised a hand to forestall further debate. The decision has been made. The only question is whether Commander Reyes accepts the mission. All eyes turned to her. Reyes felt the weight of the moment. 70 years of simmering resentment, of humanity chafing under restrictions, of progress deliberately stunted by their supposed benefactors. I accept, she said simply. Okafor nodded. The Sentinel launches in 48 hours. You'll have minimal direct contact with Earth afterward. We must maintain plausible deniability. If discovered, Earth's official position will be that you've gone rogue. Understood. Your orders are simple. Protect human interests within our solar system. Show restraint when possible, but make it clear that attacks on our outposts will no longer go unanswered. The Russian representative leaned forward. The Sentinel carries weapons that the Alliance has specifically prohibited humanity from possessing. Using them will reveal that we've been developing technology in secret. That bridge will be crossed when necessary, Okafor replied. Commander Reyes will use her judgment. The meeting concluded shortly after, the weight of history hanging over every word. As Reyes turned to leave, Zhang fell into step beside her. Nervous? He asked quietly. Terrified, she admitted with a small smile. But also, ready. It's been a long time coming. The crew of the Sentinel assembled in the ship's cavernous main hangar bay, 300 of Earth's finest standing at attention as Reyes addressed them for the first time. Their faces showed a mixture of determination and apprehension. They all understood the magnitude of what they were undertaking. What we're doing has no precedent, Reyes told them, her voice echoing in the vast space. For 70 years, humanity has accepted limitations imposed on us by the Galactic Alliance. We've been confined to our solar system, our technological development carefully managed, our expansion beyond Earth strictly controlled. She paced slowly, making eye contact with as many crew members as possible. We were told these restrictions were temporary, that they were for our own protection as we adjusted to our place in a larger galactic community. 70 years later, those restrictions have only tightened. And now, our outposts are being attacked while the Alliance looks the other way. Engineer Dalka stood near the front, arms crossed over his broad chest, his gray-streaked beard failing to hide his skeptical expression. Beside him, Tactical Officer Tanaka remained stone-faced, but his eyes never left the commander. The Sentinel represents humanity's refusal to remain passive any longer, Rice continued. This ship and this mission will likely change Earth's relationship with the Alliance forever. There will be consequences, diplomatic, perhaps military. But the Security Council has determined that the greater risk lies in continued inaction. She stopped pacing, hands clasped behind her back. Our orders are clear. We will patrol the solar system and protect human interests. We will investigate the recent attacks on our outposts, and we will demonstrate that humanity will defend itself, regardless of Alliance restrictions. A murmur ran through the assembled crew. Questions? Rise asked. Tanaka raised his hand. Commander, what exactly are our rules of engagement? We don't fire first, Rise replied firmly. But we will respond decisively to any threat. The Sentinel's capabilities are to remain classified unless their use becomes necessary. And if we encounter Alliance vessels, someone else called out. We are operating legally within our own solar system. We will be respectful but firm about our right to self-defense. More questions followed. Technical inquiries, clarifications about the mission parameters, concerns about potential scenarios. Rise answered each as directly as she could, knowing that uncertainty was the enemy of morale. As the briefing concluded and the crew dispersed to their stations, Engineer Dalka approached her. Commander, his Eastern European accent was thick despite decades in North America. A private word. They moved to a quieter corner of the hangar. Dalka was a legend among Earth's engineering corps. Brilliant, innovative, and notoriously difficult to work with. His involvement in the Sentinel project had been deemed essential despite numerous disciplinary issues throughout his career. This ship, he said without preamble, it's not ready. Rides frowned. The reports indicate all systems are operational. Operational, yes. Tested adequately. No. Dalka ran a hand through his unruly hair. The gravitic weapons have only been fired at 20% capacity. The phase shields have never faced a real attack. And the quantum drive has only been activated in simulations. We've been developing these systems for 7 years, Chief. In secret, with limited resources and personnel. His eyes, sharp despite his disheveled appearance, bored into hers. I'm not saying she won't fly, Commander. I'm saying she's untested in combat conditions. If something goes wrong, I may not be able to fix it. Reyes nodded slowly. Noted, Chief Engineer. But ready or not, we launch in 36 hours. Do what you can to address your concerns before then. Dalka grimaced but nodded. Yes, Commander. As he walked away, Tactical Officer Tanaka approached. Unlike Dalka's rumpled appearance, Tanaka was precisely put together, his uniform immaculate despite the chaos of pre-launch preparations. He's right, you know, Tanaka said quietly. This mission would be ambitious even with proven technology. Do you have concerns about the weapon systems? Tanaka shook his head. The weapons will work, whether they'll be enough against whatever we might face. That's another question entirely. Before Rice could respond, an alarm blared throughout the hangar. A moment later, her communicator chirped urgently. Commander to the bridge, a tense voice announced. Priority alert from Europa outpost. They're under attack. Rice and Tanaka exchanged a glance and broke into a run. The Sentinel's bridge hummed with activity as Rice and Tanaka burst through the doors. The command center was arranged in concentric rings around a central holographic display, currently showing Jupiter and its moons. A flashing red indicator hovered over Europa. Status, Rice demanded, taking her position at the command station. Distress call from Europa Research Station, reported Communications Officer Park. Came in 4 minutes ago. Multiple unidentified vessels appeared without warning and opened fire on the facility. Casualties, unknown. Communication was cut off mid-transmission. Rice turned to Zhang, who had followed them to the bridge. Admiral. Zhang's expression was grim. This is exactly the scenario the Sentinel was built for, Commander. Your call. Rice nodded once. Decision made. Prepare for immediate launch. Navigation. Plot course to Europa. Engineering. I need full power to engines. Dalka's voice came through the comm. Commander, we haven't completed pre-launch checks. No time. Chief. Make it work. Throughout the massive ship, launch preparations accelerated to emergency protocols. Crew members raced to stations, security teams secured sensitive areas, and the asteroid hangar's massive doors began to part, revealing the starfield beyond. All hands, secure for launch, Rise ordered. This is not a drill. The Sentinel's engines ignited with a power that hummed through the entire vessel. Slowly at first, then with gathering speed, Earth's first star destroyer emerged from its hidden berth, its black hull absorbing the light of distant Jupiter as it oriented toward its destination. Europa is 400 million kilometers away, navigation reported. At maximum conventional thrust, arrival in approximately 15 hours. Too long. The station might not have 15 minutes, let alone hours. Rise looked to Dalka, who had arrived on the bridge looking harried. The quantum drive. He grimaced. Untested outside simulations, but theoretically functional. Theoretically we'll have to do. Prepare for quantum jump. As the bridge crew scrambled to comply, the tactical display updated with new information. The sensors, far more advanced than anything the Alliance believed humanity possessed, were picking up details from the Europan incident. Commander, Tanaka called out, studying the data. I'm reading 7 vessels around Europa Station. Configuration matches those from the Ganymede attack. Can we identify them? Not Alliance designs. Tanaka frowned. But there's something familiar about the energy signatures. The quantum drive's activation sequence initiated, a low hum building throughout the ship. Warning lights flashed as the untested system prepared for its first actual use. Quantum field stabilizing, Dalka reported, tension evident in his voice. Drive at 90% capacity. It's going to be rough, Commander. On the main viewport, the image of distant Jupiter wavered as the quantum field enveloped the Sentinel. All hands, brace for jump, Rise ordered. She gripped her command chair, eyes fixed on the tactical display showing the distant research station and the alien vessels surrounding it. For 70 years, humanity had played by the Alliance's rules. That ended today. Execute jump, she commanded. The stars blurred, and humanity's first star destroyer vanished from Earth orbit, shattering the stillness of space, and 70 years of forced compliance, in a single moment. Breaking the quarantine. Reality reassembled itself around the Sentinel in a cascade of quantum particles. Warning klaxons blared across every deck as the massive ship shuddered, systems struggling to stabilize after the untested jump. Status report. Rise demanded, gripping her command chair as the artificial gravity fluctuated. We're here, Dalka replied, his voice filled with equal parts amazement and concern. Quantum drive functioning at, well, functioning at all, which is honestly better than I expected. The main viewport cleared, revealing Jupiter's vast swirling storms. The gas giant filled half the screen, its massive red spot a baleful eye staring at the human vessel that had appeared from nowhere. Europa was visible as a small crescent, illuminated by the distant sun. Tactical display, Rise ordered. The holographic projection at the center of the bridge shimmered to life. showing Europa in detail. The research station, humanity's largest outpost in the Jovian system, was clearly visible on the icy moon's surface. Around it, 7 alien vessels hung in low orbit, energy weapons firing into the facility's protective dome. Communications, anything from the station. Communications Officer Park shook her head. Weak emergency beacon only. No response to hails. Life signs. Reading approximately 200 human signatures in the central research hub. Their shields are failing. Ray studied the alien vessels. They were sleek, predatory craft with swept-back configurations that suggested atmospheric capability despite their current operation in vacuum. Not Alliance designs, but something about them nagged at her memory. Time to intercept. 3 minutes at maximum thrust, navigation replied. Take us in. Full battle stations. Throughout the massive ship, warning lights shifted from the amber of jump alert to the crimson of combat readiness. Weapons systems powered up, phase shields initiated, and crew members secured themselves at battle stations. Tanaka's fingers danced over his tactical console. Commander, I've identified the vessels. His normally impassive expression had hardened into something cold. They match classified reports of Krell raider ships. A hush fell over the bridge. The Krell were known to humanity only through limited Alliance briefings, a predatory species from the galaxy's outer rim, described as primitive but dangerous. The Alliance had assured Earth that the Krell were contained, their territory far from human space. The Alliance told us the Krell were quarantined to their home systems, Zhang said quietly, standing at Raya's side. Another lie. Or they'd lost control of the situation. Rais replied, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Either way, those are our people down there. The Sentinel accelerated toward Europa, its massive engines pushing it to speeds no human vessel had officially achieved. On the tactical display, one of the alien vessels broke off from attacking the station and turned toward them. They've spotted us, Tanaka reported. One vessel moving to intercept. Energy signatures suggest weapons charging. Rais nodded, the moment of truth upon them. Open a channel. Channel open. Attention unidentified vessels, Rais said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. This is Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Ship Sentinel. You are attacking the human research facility in violation of interstellar law. Cease fire immediately and withdraw from Europa orbit. Seconds ticked by with no response. On the tactical display, the approaching Krell vessel continued its intercept course. No response, Commander, Park reported, but they're definitely receiving. They're accelerating, Tanaka added. Weapons hot. Rais took a deep breath. Final warning. Withdraw immediately, or we will respond with force. The Krell ship answered with a burst of energy, a searing beam of ionized particles that streaked toward the Sentinel. Evasive maneuvers, Rais ordered. The massive Earth vessel, despite its size, responded with surprising agility. The beam passed within meters of the hull, its energy wake rattling the ship. Phase shields held at 98%, Dalka reported, sounding relieved. Looks like that system works. At least. Rey's eyes narrowed. Tanaka, target their propulsion and weapons systems only. Precision strikes. Targeting. Aye. Tanaka's hands moved across his console with practiced efficiency. Ready. Fire. The Sentinel's primary weapons activated for the first time outside of testing. Concentrated beams of gravitically compressed matter that defied the Alliance's understanding of human technological capability. They struck the Krell vessel with surgical precision, first disabling its main thruster assembly, then severing the connections to its weapon emplacements. On the tactical display, the crippled Krell ship began to drift, its primary systems offline. Direct hits, Tanaka reported, unable to keep a note of satisfaction from his voice. Target disabled. The other vessels? Rais asked. Still engaged with the station. They don't appear to have noticed their companion's predicament. Take us in. Prepare to engage all hostiles. The Sentinel accelerated toward Europa, the disabled Krell ship falling behind. As they approached the moon, the full extent of the attack became visible. The research station's main dome was cracked, atmosphere venting into space from multiple breaches. The remaining 6 Krell vessels circled like vultures, methodically destroying defensive emplacements and targeting life support systems. "Broadcast on all frequencies," Rise ordered. "I want them to know exactly who's arriving." "Channel open. Broadcasting wide spectrum." Rise stood from her command chair, eyes fixed on the enemy vessels. "Attention Krell vessels. You have attacked a sovereign human installation and murdered Earth citizens. This will be your only warning. Break off your attack and leave this system immediately, or be destroyed." This time, a response came, a harsh, guttural transmission that the ship's computers struggled to translate. "Human vessel." The translation approximated. "You violate agreements. This space not yours to defend. Alliance gives us hunting rights." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Rise exchanged looks with Zhang. "Hunting rights," she repeated. "Clarify." "Humans restricted to Earth," the Krell commander replied. "Outer system given to Krell by Alliance. Fair exchange. Your kind not permitted weaponed ships. You violate treaty." Zhang's face had gone pale. "They're saying the Alliance ceded the outer system to them. That Earth agreed to this." "We never agreed to any such thing," Rise said sharply, before turning back to the communications. "Your information is incorrect. This entire system belongs to Earth. The research station you're attacking is a civilian scientific outpost." "Not our concern," came the dismissive reply. "Agreement with Alliance, not humans. You leave or be destroyed." On the tactical display, the 6 Krell vessels altered course, moving away from the damaged station and forming an attack pattern directed at the Sentinel. "They're prioritizing us now," Tanaka reported. "All vessels moving to engage." Rise nodded, decision made. "Target all hostile vessels. Weapons free. Protect that station." The battle erupted in earnest. The Krell ships were fast and maneuverable, darting around the much larger Sentinel like wasps attacking a bear. But the Earth vessel's advanced targeting systems tracked them with inhuman precision, and its phase shields absorbed their attacks with minimal effort. "Shields holding at 92%, Dalka reported. "Their weapons are potent, but our defenses are holding." The Sentinel's weapons spoke again, gravitational beams lancing out to cripple 2 more Krell vessels in quick succession. The remaining raiders began evasive maneuvers, their attack becoming more desperate. "Commander," Park called out, "I'm detecting a new signal, quantum communications between the Krell vessels, and something at the edge of the system. They're calling for reinforcements." Rise frowned. Quantum communication was supposedly beyond Krell capability, according to Alliance briefings. "Can you trace the signal's destination?" "Working on it," Park replied, fingers dancing across her console. "It's..." "Commander, the signal is being routed through an Alliance relay buoy." Another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. "They're working with Alliance support," Rise said quietly, "whether officially or unofficially." "Commander," Tanaka interrupted, 3 Krell vessels making another run at the station. "They've changed tactics. They're on a suicide course." "Intercept them," Rise ordered. "Use the gravity well if necessary." Tanaka nodded grimly. The gravity well was the Sentinel's most powerful weapon, a targeted gravitational distortion that could crush smaller vessels. It was also the technology most strictly prohibited by Alliance treaties. "Gravity well charging," Tanaka confirmed. 5 seconds to activation. On the tactical display, the 3 Krell ships accelerated toward the damaged research station, clearly intent on ramming it regardless of their own survival. 3, 2, 1. Gravity well activated. Space itself seemed to distort between the Sentinel and the approaching Krell vessels. The raiders' trajectories bent sharply as they were caught in the artificial gravitational field, their hulls distorting under forces they were never designed to withstand. Within seconds, all 3 vessels had imploded, crushed by the inexorable force of the gravity well. Targets eliminated, Tanaka reported. Remaining hostiles retreating. Reyes watched as the final Krell ship accelerated away from Europa, apparently deciding that the hunt had become too dangerous. "Let them go," she ordered. "They can carry the message back to their masters." "Commander," Park said urgently, "I'm picking up a transmission from the station. Audio only." "Put it through." A strained, female voice filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel, this is Director Cho of Europa Research Station. If you can hear us, we have multiple hull breaches and critical damage to life support systems. Emergency protocols are failing. We have wounded personnel and approximately 50 minutes of breathable air remaining. Director Cho, this is Commander Reyes of the EDS Sentinel. We've neutralized the hostile vessels and are moving to assist. Hold on." Reyes turned to her first officer. "Prepare rescue teams. Medical, engineering, and security. I want our people on that station in 10 minutes. Aye, Commander." As the bridge crew coordinated the rescue operation, Zhang moved closer to Reyes, speaking quietly. "You realize what this means. If the Krell were telling the truth, the Alliance has been selling us out." Reyes finished. "Containing us on Earth while allowing others to hunt in our system. It would explain the attacks, the Alliance's reluctance to investigate, their insistence that we remain confined to Earth orbit." Reyes nodded slowly. "We need answers, and we're not going to get them hiding in our own system." Zhang's eyebrows rose. "You're considering breaking quarantine entirely." "I'm considering completing our mission," Reyes replied carefully. "Protecting human interests doesn't stop at the edge of the solar system, especially if the threats are coming from beyond." Before Zhang could respond, Dalka's voice came urgently over the comm. "Commander, sensors are detecting multiple quantum signatures at the system's edge. Large vessels inbound. Krell reinforcements." "No," Dalka replied, his voice tight. "Alliance configurations. Warships." 6 hours later, Commander Reyes stood in the hastily established command center within Europa Station's intact secondary dome. Around her, Sentinel personnel worked alongside station staff to restore critical systems and treat the wounded. Of the station's original complement of 300, 215 had survived the Krell attack. Director Cho, a small woman with streaks of gray in her black hair, studied the holographic display showing the approaching Alliance vessels. "They've never responded this quickly before," she noted. "Previous distress calls went unanswered for days." "They're not responding to your distress call," Reyes said grimly. "They're responding to us." The display showed 5 Alliance vessels, massive constructs that dwarfed even the Sentinel, their distinctive tri-hull configuration marking them as official peacekeeping ships of the Galactic Alliance. "Commander," Park's voice came through Reyes' communicator. "Alliance vessels are hailing us. Put it through to the station command center." The holographic display shifted, showing a tall, thin alien with iridescent scales and 4 eyes set in a diamond pattern. A Thrask, one of the Alliance's founding species. "Unauthorized Earth vessel." The Thrask spoke in perfect, unaccented English. "This is Overseer Calith of the Galactic Alliance Peacekeeping Force. You have violated multiple provisions of the Earth Integration Treaty. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Reyes stepped forward. "Overseer Calith, I am Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Ship Sentinel. We responded to an attack on a human research station by Krell raiders who claim to have hunting rights in this system granted by the Alliance." Calith's 4 eyes blinked in an unsynchronized pattern that Reyes knew indicated surprise in Thrask physiology. "The activities of primitive species are not your concern, Commander. Your vessel's existence violates at least 17 treaty provisions. The Alliance will determine the appropriate response to this incident. The Krell are hardly primitive if they possess quantum communication technology and coordinates for human outposts." Reyes countered. "Director Cho can confirm that over 80 personnel died in this attack, an attack that follows similar incidents at Ganymede and Callisto. These matters will be investigated through proper channels, Calith replied dismissively. Your immediate concern should be your own violation of quarantine restrictions. Power down your vessel and prepare for Alliance inspection teams. Director Cho stepped forward, anger evident in her posture. With respect, Overseer, we submitted multiple requests for investigation after the previous attacks. All were denied or indefinitely delayed. Internal solar system security arrangements are complex, Calith said smoothly. But I assure you, the Alliance takes human safety seriously. Seriously enough to grant hunting rights in our system. Rise asked pointedly. Calith's scales rippled, a sign of agitation. Those claims are nonsense. Primitive raiders often make such boasts. Then you won't mind if we review the Krell vessel's quantum communications logs, Rise said. Our teams recovered them from the disabled ships. This was a bluff. They hadn't yet decrypted the Krell communications, but Calith's reaction confirmed Rice's suspicions. The Thrask's scales flattened against his skull, a sign of alarm in their species. That would be inappropriate, Calith said quickly. Alliance protocols require all evidence to be submitted through proper channels. Like our previous requests for investigation, Director Cho asked sarcastically. Calith ignored her, focusing on Reyes. Commander, the Alliance Council will need to review this incident in its entirety. Your vessel must stand down and submit to inspection immediately. Reyes smiled thinly. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Overseer. The Sentinel is engaged in emergency rescue operations at Europa Station. Once those operations are complete, we will return to Earth to report directly to our government. That is unacceptable. Alliance protocols have apparently allowed repeated attacks on human outposts, Rise interrupted. My orders come from Earth's Security Council, not the Alliance. If you wish to discuss this matter further, I suggest you contact Earth's diplomatic court directly. Calith's scales now rippled with unmistakable anger. Commander Rise, you are making a grave mistake. The Alliance has maintained peace in this sector for millennia. One rogue human vessel cannot be allowed to disrupt that balance. We're not disrupting the balance, Overseer, Rise replied calmly. We're simply refusing to be sacrificed to maintain it. She nodded to Park, who terminated the connection. The holographic display returned to showing the positions of the Alliance vessels, still maintaining distance at the edge of the Jovian system. They'll come after us, Zhang observed, once they realize we're not going to comply. Yes, Rise agreed. But not here, not now. They need time to consider their options, to consult with the full council. The Alliance prefers diplomacy to direct confrontation. It's how they've maintained control for so long. And when diplomacy fails, Director Cho asked, then we'll see what the Sentinel is truly capable of.